Hello, Eyal.
Hello, Krista.
I'm really looking forward to this conversation since I think you have to share a really nice, personal, and touching story of how this framework supported you in seeing something else. And since you're since many years on your way. So, before talking much more, who are you? What are you working? And how did you come into contact with this vibrancy and harmonic vibrancy framework?
I'm working as a counseling psychologist and freelance coach and trainer, and I got into contact with the framework through a close friend and conversations we had over the last years.
So, as I understood you from conversations we had before, you already are, you know this five dimensions and three circle diagram from the previous chapters. So, of this course, I wanted to engage with you in a conversation about how did this five dimensions diagram support you in your private or professional life, and to see and understand that a different reality is possible. So that there is this reality, and that you can just choose it, and that this is just possible. How did it support you in choosing or seeing this?
It supported me in two different ways. So the first thing was it helped me to name my experiences, to name my way I'm walking actually since many years. And it helped me to integrate my different ways into one framework, into one really powerful framework. And the second thing is it helped me, I was struggling the last years. So in my personal way, I was struggling a lot to convince myself, to prove myself, yeah, I'm on the right way. This is a good way. And it's a healthy way. And even if I get another feedback from my colleagues, from my bosses, from even person's friends. So no, I want to stay on this way. And so I felt something sometimes like a lonely nut. And so with the framework, it's just great. I know, hey, there are many more people like this. And so we all walk a successful way in a sustainable basis. And this just backs me and helps me to say, to release these resources in convincing myself to say, great, so I trust that it's a good way and I want to continue with it. So, for example, in my working, so I had a job really exhausting and depleting, and so I just told myself, okay, come on, I quit it, and I don't want to live in this certain situation. But so I entered a conversation with my boss, and it was actually a very great conversation because I invited her to an open-hearted, to a trustful conversation on an abundance level. And together we were able to open new possibilities. So together we were able to share, okay, what is going wrong, what is going right. So where else can we go together? And so we'll see. But it was an amazing conversation over 3 or 4 hours. And this is one special thing. Another experience I had is, for example, when I was working with the agreement evidence map. And so the agreements evidence map is a mirror of facts of the reality. And this helps that people, so the group we are working with, doesn't slide into unhealthy dynamics in competing relationships, but you're just working on the fact level, and it's not blaming or naming. And this helps the groups to process, to find ways to enter a new level.
Okay, so that's really interesting. So, what makes it for you so different to live in this scarcity or in this abundant world? Why do you think? I mean, we are trained to live in scarcity world. This is how our society currently works. That scarcity is the only reality. And you say, well, I don't accept this anymore, and I even quit my job. I mean, this is a really tough thing. We all need money to live. And you say, but I quit it because I want to live in this one. What makes this one better for you? And what makes this one not something esoteric and fancy, but something real that it's worthwhile striving for and living into? Why?
It's very obvious. It's very simple, just everything. Because it's just a world full of color, full of possibilities, full of joy and trust. So it's just I just get a picture. Great, the world is great, and humans are great, and you can imagine, okay, the other world. So what is my opinion of it? And I'm pissed of it. I just don't want to stay there any longer, and want to enter into the possibilities and to the fun.
So would you also say that the results you create, and because right now what you just mentioned sounds a bit, if I would be critical, sounds a bit, okay, yeah, the world is rose red, yeah. So would you also say, would you also say that the results you create in such a reality, if you work in an organization, and you described it, you invited your boss into such a conversation of this reality, you actively wanted to create something like this. Do you also think that the results you create in something like this are different from this one?
Sure, of course.
In
It's
which
not
way?
just dreaming whatever, but it's every time when I enter a conversation, for example, and if I consciously say, okay, I enter this conversation with another agreement, and I offer, for example, a trustful conversation. I open a transparent conversation. So it changes the whole dynamics in this group or in this conversation with the other person.
Okay.
And it helps me to move with this person together to areas, to ideas that were not thinkable before.
Cool. So this is really exciting. I would love to talk longer. We already with 7 minutes. Actually, we want to do 3. I hope the fellow listeners enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to another one. Have a great weekend there in Berlin. I will have one here in Frankfurt. It just snowed. Okay, bye.
Bye. See you.